Hey, what's up? Will Hamilton here. I am the co-founder of FuzzyYellowBalls.com. And in this video, we're gonna fix a huge serve mistake called lack of hip turn. And the way we're gonna do it is super cool. We're gonna take a lesson from our new AI serve coach, Bert. So taking a lesson is super easy. All you have to do is click Launch Bert, then I'm gonna click Record. I'm gonna walk up to the baseline and just hit a serve like normal. Once I've hit my serve, I'm going to click Upload, and then I'm going to tell Bert that I am left-handed. Then I'm going to click Upload, and in a couple minutes, Bert is going to tell me what mistakes I'm making and how to fix them. So now I'm going to demonstrate a serve with a lack of hip turn. This is something I see at the club level all the time, and it looks like this. So I just uploaded that serve, and while Bert is taking a look at it, let me describe why lack of hip turn is such a big mistake. So most players know that they need to bend their knees, but they just bend straight down. They get into a squat position, and then from here, you can just come straight up. That is a problem because not only do you want to go up, you also want to go into the court. And so you look at good players, they're not only coming down, they're also twisting back. So they are twisting their back hip back like this. That allows them to load up their back leg, one of the most important parts of the kinetic chain, so that when they jump, not only are they going up, but they're also going out into the court like that. They're getting their body into the serve. Okay, so my results are in, and here are all the serves I've hit with Bert in the last couple days. You can see there's a ton of them, and you can hit as many serves as you want when you take a lesson with Bert. More on that in just a second. So here's the serve I just hit, and this is computer vision. This is what Bert sees when he looks at my serve. And then if I click View Your Mistakes here, you can see that there are 5 mistakes Bert identified. There's early knee bend toss, there's lack of hip turn, that was the one I was just trying to demo. There's also early racket drop, more on that in just a second, palm up waiter's tray, and stiff-legged finish. Now, if I wanted to fix lack of hip turn, I'm just gonna click on it and a video pops up where Dr. Mark Kovac is gonna walk you through the fix. So let's watch that video right now.
So we see on this one, a lot of people during stage 3, they get into that squat position, and we see that quite a bit where their weight is just going straight down and they're not coiling. Great exercise that a lot of people get a lot of benefit from feeling wise is the three ball pickup and throw. So we're actually gonna put the racket down here. And there's a few ways you can do this. You can do it on the ground if you're by yourself. If you have a friend or if you have a table, you can actually do it at a slightly higher height for some people that don't want to bend all the way down. But for this athlete, we can easily do it where we'll put the balls behind their feet. So I'll get you set up like you're going to serve. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a ball here, and a ball here. So these are 3 different ranges that we want him to go down, pick up, and then when he throws, you're going to throw up for height, and you're going to keep your shoulders side on like that. So you're going to stay side on as you throw.
Okay.
Okay? Good.
Okay, so that was Dr. Kovac's drill for fixing a lack of hip turn. The drill is awesome. In just like 5 to 10 minutes, it can get that mistake out of your serve. So let's say I've been working on it and I want to see how I'm doing. I want Bert to take a look at my serve again and see if that mistake has been eliminated. So let me hit a serve and we'll see what's up. Okay, so my results are in. Here's that serve I just hit. And then if I click on View Your Mistakes, okay, I got toss release too high, I got early knee bend toss, early racket drop, but there is no lack of hip turn anymore. I fixed that problem. Now, I got some other problems I got to fix. And the one I mentioned earlier is early racket drop. That's where the racket comes down behind my back too soon in my motion. Another huge problem that you got to get out of your game. But this is how Bert works. You film your serve, Bert's going to tell you the mistakes you're making, and then you're going to pick a mistake, you're going to work on it until you get it out of your game, and then you're going to move on to the next mistake, and the next mistake, and the next mistake. And every time you eliminate one of these mistakes from your game, your serve's going to get a little bit faster, a little bit more consistent, a little bit more accurate, all of that good stuff, and ultimately you are going to hold serve way more often. So what I want to do right now is get out of the sun and go back to the studio. I want to take you under the hood and show you how Bert works. And we're going to start by looking at some random guy named Kovac. Those dots you see on his body, those are his joints. And Bert can identify and calculate the angles and distances between them. That red box, that is tracking the racket. And Bert knows the racket's orientation and can calculate your racket head speed. And then the green box is Bert tracking the tennis ball. Bert is keeping tabs on all of this stuff hundreds of times a second, which allows Bert to see and measure things the human eye can't. The stuff that is literally happening in the blink of an eye, like contact, which means Bert is able to identify the invisible mistakes you're making that no one has ever told you about before. For example, if you feel like you are arming your serve, then you might be suffering from a mistake called lack of vertical hip displacement. And that is the scientific term for the distance and the speed your back hip fires upwards when you swing. And the back hip is not something you typically think of when you swing. But take a look at Teresa versus Roger Federer. And Teresa, thanks again for letting us use your video. But when you eyeball it, you can obviously see there's a difference between the distance and speed the back hips are moving. But what you don't see is this. This is what Bert sees and measures. And you can see in this chart how Roger's back hip dips down and explodes upwards. And if you were wondering, it travels a distance of 49.6 centimeters. But Teresa's chart here, you can see it is much flatter. She has a lack of vertical hip displacement. And when she fixes it, or when you fix it, you'll add 5 to 10 miles an hour to your serve, maybe more, and you'll get rid of that annoying feeling that you are arming your serve. Now, what if you are not pronating properly? Well, Bert can measure what happens in that tiny window just before, during, and after contact. And what Bert is looking for is a scientific term called long axis rotation, which is internal shoulder rotation plus pronation. You need both. And what Bert wants to see is your strings right before contact pointed this way, then at contact is pointed at the target, and then after contact, they're pointed this way. Here's Iga doing it correctly, but then let's look at Dan doing it incorrectly. His strings are pointed straight down after he hits, and Dan, thanks again for being our guinea pig here. Now, computer vision by itself is not enough to fix your serve because it can see the mistake, but it can't tell you what's causing it. So, for example, let's say you suffer from over rotation. This is a really common mistake at the amateur level, and it just means that at contact, you are facing the net when you should be facing more towards the side fence. Now, why are you making that mistake? Well, it could be foot around, it could be early racket drop, you could be chasing a bad toss, whatever. So Bert needs more than just computer vision. Bert also needs a brain. And the brains of the operation is Dr. Mark Kovacs, arguably the world's leading expert when it comes to tennis biomechanics, how your body should be moving when you hit a forehand, a backhand, or a serve. In 2002, Mark won the NCAA Division I doubles championship, turned pro, and promptly blew out his shoulder. So that was the end of his playing career, but the beginning of his scientific one, because Mark got his PhD in physiology, and that's when Mark became Dr. Kovacs. He's had some cool jobs, like he was the director of the Gatorade Sports Science Institute, but more importantly for your game, in 2011, he published the world's leading study on the serve. It's called an 8-stage model for evaluating the tennis serve. It's been peer-reviewed twice, and it won him the International Tennis Hall of Fame's Educational Merit Award. It's great bedtime reading. So when you film your serve, Bert is going to watch your serve and compare it to Dr. Kovacs' 8-stage perfect model. And if you're making a mistake, then Bert will flag it, figure out what's causing that mistake, and then you'll get a video where Dr. Kovacs shows you how to fix that mistake. You're also going to get an overall score that shows you how close you are to Dr. Kovacs' perfect model. And you're going to get all sorts of really cool analytics, like the angles and speeds of your body part that show you how you stack up against the pros and how you stack up against your peers. The one I really like is it calculates your racket head speed. What's so amazing about AI is the analysis that Bert does in that 1 minute, it used to take 2 days. Because Dr. Kovacs is based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and players from all around the world at all levels of the game, whether it's pros down to amateurs, they would fly down to Atlanta to work with Dr. Kovacs. And a few years ago, I put together a group of tennis players to go down to Dr. Kovacs' lab in Atlanta and work with him over 2 days. Dr. Kovacs put him through a battery of tests to see how close they were to the perfect model, and any mistakes they were making, Dr. Kovacs would then correct them. That event cost $5,000. And what's crazy is with Bert's computer vision, first, we can do that entire 2 days worth of analysis on your phone. And second, instead of spending $5,000 to go to Atlanta, you can do it for just one payment here on this page for $67. If you're doing the math, that is a 99.987% discount. So for $67, you are getting 1 month of unlimited access to Bert. And what that means is you can upload as many serves as you want and get Bert's feedback on what you should do next to improve. After that month is up, Bert is going to hang on to everything, your serves, your feedback, all that stuff, so that you can always go back and check it out. All you got to do is pull out your phone and open up the Bert app. And if you want Bert to take a look at some more of your serves, well, all you have to do is sign up for another month. This is not a subscription. This is like, it's kind of like taking a lesson with your coach, right? You just sign up for a lesson whenever you want. That's exactly how Bert works. So look, I think Bert is awesome because what other coach in the world is on demand 24/7, will show up at any court in the world wherever you are and give you a lesson on your schedule and give you a lesson for an entire month for just $67. I'm not going to do that, but Bert will. So if that sounds good to you, just scroll down this page, click that button to sign up, and you can be using Bert just a few short minutes from right now. So when you take a lesson with Bert, you are also getting 2 awesome bonuses, and the first is the new rules of singles. So Bert is using big data to fix your technique, but can we use big data to fix your strategy? Well, the answer is yes. That is what the new rules of singles is all about, because inside there are 20 new rules, new strategies that use big data to show you what the strategies are with the highest winning percentage. So all you got to do is cut out the old losing strategies, the stuff we were sort of taught when we were learning how to play tennis. Cut those out, replace them with the strategies that are backed by the analytics. So when you get inside the new rules of singles, you can see here are all at the top, there's the old rule. At the bottom, there's the new rule, and you can just swipe through all of these. And then if I click the play button down here, a video will pop up. This is Craig O'Shaughnessy. So Craig is basically the guy who is leading the analytics revolution in tennis. He used to actually coach Novak Djokovic on the analytics, getting him to use all these new rules in his game. And now we're bringing it to your game. So every one of these, if you swipe through, you click on the play button down here, a video with Craig is going to pop up showing you what the old rule is and then how to replace it with the new rule. Now, a lot of these rules are like really counterintuitive. My favorite one right here is the new rule for approaching the net, because up here, the old rule is to hit a backhand approach shot down the line, but that exposes you to a forehand dipping cross court. So the new rule is actually to run around that backhand and then approach cross court, hit a forehand approach cross court. Seems counterintuitive because now you're leaving the down the line passing shot. The winning percentage is actually way higher, and Craig will walk you through all of that inside the new rules of singles. So if you like the data, if you like big data, if you like analytics, you're going to love the new rules of singles. So in the past, we've sold the new rules of singles for like $199, something like that. But I just want to give it to you for free. It is yours to keep when you take a lesson with Bert. So I know not everybody watching this is a singles player. I know some of you are exclusively doubles players, and that's why we've got you covered with this next bonus. It is the new rules of doubles. So it works the exact same way as the new rules of singles. We've got 21 new rules, new strategies backed up by the analytics, by all the number crunching Craig has done. And he's going to show you how to replace these old rules with the new rules. So you got them all here. You can swipe through, and the first one here is actually my favorite. It's the new rule for faking. This one's really, really counterintuitive. But if you hit that play button here, Craig is going to walk you through it. Basically, you don't want to fake to the middle and cover the alley. You want to do the opposite based on what the data is telling you. So This thing is awesome, and in the past, we've also sold this thing for like $199, but I just want to hook you up with it. I want to give it to you for free, yours to keep when you take a lesson with Bert. So that's what's up. When you take a lesson with Bert, you've got Dr. Kovac's entire lab on your phone. You've got his entire brain on your phone. You don't have to pay $5,000 to go down to Atlanta and spend 2 days doing all of these analyses and whatnot. You've got the new rules of singles, a $200 value, and the new rules of doubles, a $200 value as well. So that's like $5,400 worth of stuff that you can get a hold of for just one payment here on this page today for $67. And just like all of our stuff, you are protected by our 365-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. So you can run with this lesson from Bert for an entire year. I mean, what other tennis coach is like, hey, after the lesson, I'll just give you a refund if it wasn't your cup of tea? So that's another way that Bert is super awesome. You're doing this no risk for the next year. So all you got to do is scroll down this page and click that button, and literally Bert will be on your phone in the next couple minutes. As soon as you complete your order, you'll be able to download Bert to your phone and head out to the court. And I think Bert's going to transform your serve. I mean, we all see how AI is transforming everything, and I don't see why your tennis game is any different. That's why we did this. So I'm very, very excited to share this with you. I know Dr. Kovac is as well. I know Bert is excited to help you serve faster, more consistently, with more spin and accuracy, all that good stuff, fewer double faults, whatever. So I'm going to stop talking. Just scroll down this page, click that button, and take your first lesson with Bert.